She's not allowed to speak tonight anyway, so it's fine.
She does?
No, she's banned.
Go for it.
All ready?
Yep.
Okay, welcome back to the Selectmen's meeting. We were into executive session earlier. We came back into regular session. Could I have a roll call again, please?
All selectmen are present this evening, as well as town administrator and town council.
All right, could I have the Pledge of Allegiance? Mr. Holmes, could you lead us this evening? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, very nice. All right, before we do announcements, we had a tragedy in the family occur for the third time in a very short distance, and that was the passing of Ken Ferreira. And I don't know how many of you knew Ken, but Ken's been around here for a long time, 30 years or so on the zoning board that I know of, and a man of great competence, exceptional balance, you know, always had that sort of calming effect when he talked. A terrific guy overall. I mean, you never had to worry. When you talked to Ken, Ken was honest, upfront, calm about things. He was able to calm situations down. He was a terrific man. He really was. And I really got to know him, not just from there, but I did some work for him along the way as well. And, you know, he was an engineer, so I did some work along the way in other places. And, you know, Ken could have made a lot of money by not, from the work in this town, if he hadn't been sitting on that board. But he chose to give to the town. And he gave, and he gave, and he gave. And I am very saddened to see him pass. It's really tough. I just want you to know it's a very difficult situation. And I'd like to have at least a minute of silence for him, please.
Thank you.
Okay, does anybody else want to say anything? Do you have anything, personal comments anybody wants to make? They're welcome to do it now.
I had the pleasure of going before him a couple of times. True gentleman. He certainly knew the zoning laws inside and out. He certainly knew the special permitting process inside and out. It's a tremendous loss for the town. And later during liaison reports, I'll talk about a conversation I had with a member of another board with some ideas about how to assist that body and the planning process in general in town.
Okay.
Ken actually signed up a little while ago for the Board of Health as well as an associate and gave time there. He lost his wife just a little while ago. It's just a tough loss. Thank you.
Yeah. Go ahead, Steve.
Yeah, as most know, I was born and raised in New Bedford, and that's where I met Ken many years ago. He was one of the great alumni from Holy Family High School. And I got to know Ken when I was working at South Coast. He did a lot of work for South Coast with our buildings, but he was a very well respected man in the New Bedford area, greater New Bedford area, as well as in southeastern Massachusetts in his business dealings with people. And, you know, sometimes in that line of work, you don't always get the respect, but he was a guy who everybody respected, whether they agreed with him or not. As you said, Mr. Chairman, he was very level. Whether he was telling you yes or no, his tone never changed. So he'll be really missed by the town and a ton of citizens in this town. So rest in peace. Thank you.
Go ahead, Mr.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't enjoy the status of the board members, but...
No, you're welcome to it.
Well, thank you. I'll just say that from a legal perspective, whenever I saw Ken's name on a decision, I knew I was looking at a pretty good decision. So I just wanted to convey that in my respect for him, and best wishes to his family.
Anyone else? Okay, we're going to do announcements now. It sounds kind of an awful transition, isn't it? God help us. Okay, announcements. Mr. Titlebaum, please.
Just one, the Beach and Tourism Committee, this Friday at 9 o'clock in the Town Hall cafeteria is hosting sort of an open workshop type of meeting. We'd like the businesses interested in tourism to come, hear what we're doing, jump on board, get advertising up in Boston, at the Cape Flyers stop up there, South Station, everything else. So I just want to put that out there. Thank you.
All right. Mr. Slavin.
I've got a pleasant announcement instead of what's been happening recently. We had the Celebration 2014 committee work for about 2 years, and I entered the actual event into the Serped committee for the annual awards as a recognition award, and we were kind of fortunate they picked us. So we actually got the award for the year as a special event. I'm going to read this. I'd ask Claire, who's here. I see Winna, Nora Bickey, and Angela, my neighbor. They're all involved, so I'd ask them to come up. I'm just going to read this and present
Come
it.
on down.
I think it's important that the town realize
Come
what
on,
happened.
come on, don't be afraid. Come on down. Come on, you've been on TV before.
Everybody, please come up. This is a special recognition award from SERPED, which is the Southeast Regional Planning and Economic Development District. There's approximately 27 communities, actually 29. So this is kind of a special award because they have what we call gateway cities, Taunton, New Bedford, you know, Fall River in there, and we don't stand much of a chance as a small little town normally getting a recognition at all. But again, I'll read this out. It's a special recognition of the Wareham Celebration 2014. As a committee, you worked hard for 2 years to plan for Wareham's 275th birthday party and the 200th anniversary of the town's attack by the Nimrod. I did mention that we revised history and won that in the War of 1812. In the process of planning to celebrate these events, you brought together all parts of the town of Wareham and strengthened community ties, which is extremely important, because that's exactly what it is. The hard work by the dedicated citizens such as yourselves makes our community special places. This was awarded by Stephen C. Smith, Executive Director of SERPED, who's been there probably close to 40 years and is retiring in June.
Very nice.
What a collection of not tall people.
Very nice. Is that it for you?
Yeah, I think so. I'll think about it for a minute. Go ahead, go on to somebody else.
Mr. Holmes? Okay, Miss Whiteside, please.
Okay, I have a lot of announcements. Mr. Pina was here a week or so ago, and he gave us all one of these, Wear Him in Your Pocket booklet. They are in lots of different vendors and stores and places downtown and around town. I took the time to actually read it. I found an error, but I'm not telling anybody. It's a typo, but it's really a neat little booklet, and I hope that our businesses do display this and that they find it to be useful. There are a couple of maps. You know, if you get lost, you can now be found.
Where do people get them?
In any one of the locations in town, they,
It's supposed to put it on the card racks and stuff.
yeah,
Okay.
okay, yeah, so
Where people could get one if they.
in any store, Any place downtown?
We're setting up, I think, Derek, the kiosk down at Onset and the Pier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the term kiosk you might want to revise.
I'm sorry, we're putting it in the mechanical parking, pay building that they used to have way back on the pier there.
Yeah, that old, almost little shed-looking
The
thing.
shed, this will see in there too, yeah, among other places. Thank you.
Okay, I just want to read into the record something that I've discovered today, which was sort of fun. All of these states in the United States have litter penalties. They range from $20 in Colorado to $30,000 in Maryland. Tennessee, you can get up to 6 years in jail. Maryland, Massachusetts, and Louisiana also have provisions for people to lose their license to drive an automobile for littering. Just would like everybody to know those little things. The new edition of The Beacon is out. The COA is looking for a few good men. They actually do need men on the board because Pete is outnumbered. They also need people to help with the driving for the Meals on Wheels. It's a really great publication. I'm very proud of them for being able to get it out. It's actually more than just one color, so good job. This is such an offensive thing that I'm only going to... Oh, yes.
There's a little thank you card in there
Yep.
that was written up.
Here it is. And Mr. Dunlop would also like to say that the Council on Aging would like to thank the Tremont Nursing and Rehab Center for hosting the spaghetti dinner on last Thursday, and everyone had a great time, okay? The Y is sponsoring a wrestling event, Mayhem for a Cause. You can go see a whole bunch of men dressed in stupid, ridiculous costumes, and it'll only cost you $15, but it's a good cause, and I'm not showing you the pictures. Massachusetts Maritime Academy on June 6th, which is a Saturday at 4 p.m., is having a regimental band and honor guard program at the Onset Band Shell. Free.
What time?
June 6th, Saturday, it says, at 4 p.m.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Fireworks fundraiser at the Mezzaluna Restaurant, Thursday, June 4th, 5:30 to 8:30 p.m. There's a live auction and a 50-50 raffle. They are raffling off a 1970s toilet, lemon yellow.
It's one that Patrick sat on.
Oh, no.
Actually, you don't know, but you're going.
There
to
will
the
be
toilet.
other door prizes, too, from the recent
I knew I'm going to get in
street
trouble with this one.
collections. Onset Bay has just put out a little pamphlet about themselves, which I think is really good. People are catching on that if you make a little pamphlet, a little booklet, it's there. It has the summer events scheduled. I'm not going to read them all, but they have put them out for everyone to see, and the events start on June 6th and end on August 22nd with Illumination Night. The Boys and Girls Club of Greater New Bedford and Wareham is having their annual gala auction at the Catanzet Club in Marion, Saturday, June 20th. Cocktails beginning at 5:30, a silent auction, dinner at 7, and then a live auction. Again, they'll be auctioning off 2 men who do street work. Their initials are P. So it is a fundraiser. They raise about $10,000, I think, for the Boys and Girls Club on an annual basis. There is going to be an MC. Scott Record will be the MC and doing singing comedy. Independence Day special, cold picnic lunch outdoors on June 23rd at the Multi-Service Center. I guess this is the Council on Aging, and so you need to reserve your lunch. There's a Summer Delight and Elvis with the Council on Aging in the Multi-Service Center on June 9th. Build a burger, have fun, and see an Elvis impersonator. Thank God I don't have a picture of that. I think I'm done.
Okay, yeah, go ahead. One more thing?
If I could get one more thing, we're on the 5 now.
Sure.
Just to be a little more morbid, it doesn't really matter whether you're a Democrat or a Republican or an independent, but for some reason this past week the mainstream media decided to not really cover this story. You know, we lost a great American hero this past week on a national level, Beau Biden, son of Joe Biden, our vice president. You know, Beau served in the military. He did a few tours over in the Middle East. In all that time, he suffered from cancer, which is just a crappy disease, if there's a better way of saying that. And, you know, he was the youngest state attorneys general ever elected in the state of Delaware. He was the #1 recognizable politician in Delaware, and someday may have followed in his father's footsteps of either being the senator from there or even the governor from that state. This guy was 46 years old. Think about that. You see the pictures of his 2 little kids and his wife, and boy, it just rips your guts out. This guy was an American hero, and he passed away this week. He was 46 years old. Just think about that age. And you have to know that in his last tour that he just came back from a few years ago, he's had this cancer for a long time. So he didn't cry or try to run out or get out because his father was the vice president. This kid served his country. He served his state, his family, and his creator. And I just wanted to mention that tonight because although we don't sit on the same side of the aisle, I have a lot of respect for his father, too. I think Joe is given a lot to this country when he could have quit when his wife died, and anybody would have understood that. They said the man's life is down, let him go home. But he didn't do that. He stayed and continues to serve us today, I think, as a pretty decent vice president. And so, you know, if we could just keep these young people in mind. 46 years old, brain cancer. Think about that. It's very sad. So if we could just, you know, have a thought in our hearts for his family as that young wife and those 2 small kids now have to move forward in life without a husband and father. Thank you.
All right. All right, go ahead. Go ahead.
Some time ago, we had the Greater New Bedford Community Health Center get a hold of us and ask us to support them in trying to get access for a grant and stuff for a facility in Wareham. Usually, there's 1 grant a year. It doesn't come very often. It's hard to get. I'm just going to read a letter of thanks to the town. Mr. Sullivan knows about it and has also worked helping them get a location. This is addressed to me, but it really doesn't matter. We are pleased to announce that the Greater New Bedford Community Health Center has been approved for a new access point grant from the Bureau of Primary Health Care. This is the only grant awarded in Massachusetts, and it will allow the health center to provide medical service to the underserved, sorry, that's not a bad one, population of Wareham. Freudian slip there. We could not have done it without you. Your support is greatly appreciated. We look forward to working with you in meeting the challenges of providing comprehensive quality health care in Wareham for those most vulnerable and most in need. We are grateful that our partnership will allow this community to have more choices and better resources regarding their health and well-being. Our immediate challenge is to open the Community Health Center by September 2nd, 2015, and once again, we will be asking you for help in meeting that goal. Thank you.
All right. So I have a couple of things. First, I want to thank everyone who came out this weekend for the big cleanup. It was especially Judy, who forced me into some places that I was surprised I could get into in the process. And some bushes I never thought I would get out of, actually, and things of that nature. But whatever. And thank you, Judy and Alan, for you know, helping to get this thing going and off the road, and also Nora and the others that are back there. It's amazing the amount of junk we picked up. I mean, you have no idea. I went 3 times to the dump on Saturday, and then on Sunday, we left everything at municipal maintenance, and I'm sure they were shocked when they came in on Monday morning, the amount of stuff that we piled out there. It was amazing how much stuff. Interesting enough, Stillman Drive didn't even last 24 hours. There was a mattress thrown on the side of the road. Okay, they must have thought that, since we cleaned it up, they might as well throw something back down. Now, the things that I want to point out is that there was a sort of a close race between Dunkin' Donuts cups and Nips of who was going to be who was going to get the #1 award. But running a close third, by the way, were lottery tickets, so somebody's got a lot of money around here. And I did find a lot of 5-hour energy around, which, by the way, obviously doesn't work, so don't bother buying it because you don't have enough energy to throw it in the barrel, apparently. So it probably doesn't work very well. But believe it or not, we had a lot of fun while we were out there. There was a lot of laughing and so on. They could have taken out, we were on Narrows Road on Sunday, and they could have taken out all of the selectmen, all 4 of us, at least at once. If a car had gone the wrong way, we would have been missing. There wouldn't have been 4 of us would have been gone, And then I would have been the majority. You would have been it. You would have owned the whole show. You would have been chairman, clerk, everything. You would have been the only one left. And it was funny because Peter and I, we got ourselves into some really interesting places in trouble, trying to get some of these things on the edge of sort of cliffy things and stuff. And there's some really bad odors out there, too, I want you to know, in places. But it was a good time, really. We had fun. We made fun out of it because you have to. But it's a serious thing. And look at folks, come on. There's no reason 24 hours goes by and there's another mattress thrown on Stillman Drive. I mean, the mattresses cost $10 to get rid of. If you don't have the $10, all you have to do is take a knife and cut around the mattress and separate the cover, and you can take it to the facility. They put the metal in the metal, and you put the other stuff in, and it costs you $0. All right, so there's no excuse for that. It's an extra couple of minutes to cut it with a razor blade all the way around and take the cover off. I know I've done them, and it costs $0. And it makes it so much harder when you hide this stuff in the woods, and we got to traipse it out. Actually, I feel pretty good that the guy at least left it out on the edge of the street where we could pick it up easily. I mean, if you're going to do it, at least put it right on the edge. Because the briars are terrible when you climb in there. I know, I've got cuts all over me. I still got one of them boo-boos right here.
And the poison ivy.
and the poison ivy. Judy was trying to rip my finger off earlier to get it out. But anyway, the other thing I want to point out, I guess that's enough as far as cleanup goes, is, he was just talking about cancer deaths. Well, Relay for Life is coming up. Everybody ought to jump on Relay for Life. I don't know anybody who doesn't know someone or have someone close to their heart. My mother passed of cancer. Everybody knows someone. It's a killer of biblical proportions in the fact that it kills usually long-term and painfully. And so everything we can do to try to eliminate that is terrific in my book. And everybody ought to jump on this Relay to Life. And if you can't afford to go out and run, send them a couple of bucks. Give them a few dollars. It ain't going to hurt. Throw a couple dollars their way. All right? That's what I have to say. What else? You have something else I can see. You're holding paper. You have something else? No, that's it?
I'm all set.
Oh, okay. Anybody else?
No grandma was
All right. All right, thank you. Thank you for listening to my my onward dissertation there. All right, next we'll move to appointments.
No,
Now,
citizens' participation.
oh, excuse me. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Who?
School about it.
Oh, the school? Oh, Mike. Okay, all right, we will in a minute. Citizens' participation. Is there anyone here to talk to us this evening? All right, Claire, come on down. A Snickers?
Yeah, the mini.
That's a Snickers, yep, there you go,
That'd be
Snickers.
Good evening.
Would you
as
like a
moderator-
Snickers?
Oh, I love Snickers, thank you. As moderator, I just want to report back to you that as mandated by town meeting, I have appointed a junk study committee, and they met for the first time last Thursday. They will be meeting every other Thursday at 6:00 PM, I believe, in the cafeteria. So just so that the public is aware, if you have any input, I'm sure that they'll welcome it. I know that they intend to meet with you, they intend to meet with other boards, as well as the public, have a public hearing. I was very impressed with their layout of where they're going and what they want to do. But what was interesting, I was going through some old town reports looking for something else, and in 1978, there was actually an article that came before town meeting to lay out the whole junk license process, because obviously after they wrote the charter, they decided that it didn't cover what needed to be covered. One of the problems was, I think, if I can think about town meeting and why it did not pass, and the motion was for further study and it was voted for the study, it was very complicated, very lengthy, and I think this committee realizes that what they have to do is take it in steps so that the public will understand and will have a clear understanding and not come to town meeting on town meeting night and be overwhelmed by all of the information that will be brought forward. So I think you may not see a full report for town meeting, although you might, because they are gung-ho and ready to go forward. But if not, they may have a partial and then come back in the spring with something as well, so that the public is fully aware of everything that is included and needs to be included. I'm very impressed with the committee. They are hard workers, and I think you'll be impressed with them too.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Angela, come on down.
Gesundheit. Those are old candies.
Hello, I am wearing my Historical Society hat. As president, two things. I wanted to piggyback on what Mr. Slavin had said earlier about the Summer of Celebration 2014. Through their grant to the Historical Society, a booklet was provided today to 208 third graders at Minot Forest School. And they were just little blurbs underneath beautiful sketches done by Donna Trurin and David Blanchett, two of our local people here in town, wonderful artists. So I wanted to give credit to the Summer of Celebration for providing that opportunity to those children. The other thing is, again, wearing my Historical Society hat, the Wareham Historical Society is going to have an antique and craft fair on the 4th of July, the actual day, the Saturday. And we will be putting out rack cards and information cards throughout town, so I would like to ask people to please be on the lookout for that information. It runs from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., and we hope that people will come and support us because it is one of our major fundraisers. We were washed out last year with a hurricane. It was awful. I want to thank you for promoting the Relay for Life, because some of you, maybe not all of you, know that my granddaughter was diagnosed 2.5 years ago with cancer, and she was literally at death's door when she was admitted to Children's Hospital. She not only has survived, but she is a beautiful freshman in high school and is doing well in her classes, and she's a lovely human being with a beautiful soul.
Thank you. All right, we're going to jump down to vote on surplus property so that we can get the guy who has to go down. Come on down. All right, so I guess we have some town property and some school property, right?
Yep.
And how are you gonna get rid of it, actually? Is it gonna go up for auction?
For the
So-
record, this is Michael McMillan, business manager of the...
Thank you. So we will advertise in the newspaper and we'll try to sell it. And if we were unable to sell it, then we'll discard of it.
Okay.
So I have some photographs of this just to give you a sense of the sort of stuff we're trying to get rid of.
And you have some too as well, right?
We do. There's a separate
I
list.
saw the list.
Yeah. So we'll follow the procurement processes to.
Okay. So what we need is a motion to allow the sale of surplus property.
So moved,
Second.
as provided in the documents.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Titlebaum, seconded by Ms. Whiteside. Is there any discussion? Go ahead.
Are any of these items going to qualify in as far as on the procurement, as far as the dollar amounts for
Yeah, if you don't mind.
We don't anticipate being over the $500 right now, but whatever we have to do, we're going to follow the procurement process.
Okay, 'cause I thought there was a couple vehicles
Well,
in the
the-
town side, but I think
We
there's
have-
also some here, isn't there?
Your motion is only for the school, right?
The first one's for the school, there's a second list that's for the
Right, I
town
know,
Right.
as
but
well.
Yeah.
we're going to do them one at a time, right?
Absolutely.
Yes. Okay, and that was your motion, was
Yes.
the school, public school surplus and obsolete equipment,
Okay.
Is that as
Is there
provided?
any other
Truck license.
discussion
as
relevant to this?
provided in the list provided by Mr.
Any-
McMillan.
Excuse me, any other discussion?
No.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous, 500. Okay, now,
Now we have a surplus list of, from the
Thank
town of Wareham. Mr. Sullivan, are you going to be presenting this for Mr. Menard? The surplus?
Yes, you have the lists in there.
Okay, so
okay, so we need a motion to get rid of.
is there anything, we're going to follow the same process?
I've stated, we follow all procurement processes. so.
Do it.
Move to authorize surplusage as provided in the list
Second.
Second.
from Director Menard.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Titlebaum, seconded by Ms. Whiteside. Any discussion?
How do you plan to sell this, like having the yard sale?
I think they,
Is that what you do?
No, you can also, we've looked at, actually, one of the things that's been working well, and this was town dentist, was a reverse auction. So we don't plan, it's kind of funny, on here, we've been going after junk. The side of our building's filled with junk, so,
Mm.
That's what Rich and I are laughing at.
yeah.
if I might make a
I
suggestion.
figured that out.
If I make a suggestion, there's a thing called municipal bid. Have you seen
Yep.
this? And
Muni bid.
they're getting pretty good numbers off of it, so you might think about using that. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing that forward.
All right, affordable, now these appointments, we got appointments coming up. Now, the thing I want to say about these, there are a few of these that we don't have recommendations from the boards. We only have 2 meetings to deal with them in June. We're almost to the end of the period. My problem with this is I put them on. It's up to you guys whether you want to appoint these or not. The list is here. Remember that we only have one more chance at this before the 30th. So if you want to push them off, that's fine, but I thought I'd bring them forward. Go ahead.
Well, we have the
We have some
we have some
recommendations, some we
recommendations,
don't.
so I can,
Yes.
yes.
We have 2 more meetings, actually, 16th and the 30th.
So, go ahead.
Do we have to have
These are reappointments, so we don't have to. No, we don't.
right?
We don't, it's up to us.
appointments,
We don't have to, yeah, but it's totally up to us. I just wanted you to know that there were some that didn't have them.
The first one is to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. I move that Sandra Slavin of 36 Oak Street, Wareham, Mass. 02571, be appointed as a member to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund to a term to expire no later than June 30th, 2017.
Motion made by Ms. Whiteside, seconded by Mr. Holmes. Any discussion? Go ahead.
I will note that the Affordable Housing Trust voted 3-0-0 at our last meeting to recommend the reappointment of Mrs. Slavin.
Okay. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining.
Abstain.
It's 401. 401.
The next one is the Beach and Tourism Committee, Mary Bruce of 12 Maud Palmer Drive, Wareham, Mass. Be appointed to the Beach and Tourism Committee to a term to expire no later than June 30th, 2018.
Okay, motion made by Ms. Whiteside, seconded by Mr. Holmes. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining. It's 500. Conservation.
Conservation, the first one I have is Elizabeth Lyden of 4 Marsh Avenue, Wareham, Mass. For an associate membership to the Conservation Commission to a term to expire no later than June 30th, 2016. And there is not a letter from,
There are no recommendations
no
from them.
recommendations from the Conservation Commission on it.
They meet tomorrow night.
Just vote.
Okay, so I move Elizabeth Lyden of 4 Marsh Avenue be appointed as an associate member to the Conservation Commission to a term to expire no later than June 30th, 2016.
Okay, motion made by Ms. Whiteside, seconded by Mr. Holmes. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous, 500.
The next for, again, conservation would be Sandy Slavin, 36 Oak Street, Wareham, Mass., as a member to the Conservation Commission to a term to expire no later than June 30th, 2018.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Whiteside, seconded by Mr. Holmes. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining,
Abstain.
401.
The next one is John Connolly Jr., 11 Stillman Memorial Drive, which is not actually the correct legal name, Wareham, Mass., as a member of the Conservation Commission for the town of Wareham to a term to expire no later than June 30th, 2018.
Second for discussion.
All right, motion made by Ms. Whiteside, seconded by Mr. Titlebaum for discussion.
I've wrestled with what to do with this particular appointment. Mr. Connolly's served the town for a number of years, and I'm appreciative of that service. However, I'm very concerned about the direction that the Conservation Commission has been in. They seem to take a long time to wrestle with issues. We were informed last year that there was going to be a Wareham wetland bylaw review. I've seen nothing to that effect in terms of a result, because they wanted to take a look at it, possibly come back and modify it. And again, I've wrestled with this. It's not an easy decision, but I'm going to vote against reappointment simply because I think this commission is in need of some new blood. I think it's in need of some reinvigoration, if you will, some different mindset. And again, I don't undertake that vote that I'm about to take lightly. It's not a matter of blaming anybody, really, but when you're the chairman of a body, and unfortunately it's like being a coach on a team, and perhaps the team doesn't work well. Unfortunately, you can't remove all of the players. It unfortunately does tend to fall to the chairman. On our board, we rotate the chairmanship, so it doesn't work that way. Unfortunately, when you're on one of these boards and you're reelected chairman year after year after year, the good follows you, but also the difficulties follow you as well. And that's the observation I would make with that.
Go ahead.
Use the mic. Steve,
Steve.
please.
Patrick is.
He asked if you were the liaison.
No, I'm not.
I think I am.
You concur?
Look,
Because I don't have an issue with what Peter's saying. I actually have
direction
some of
is
those issues
definite.
over
I
the
think
next few
there
weeks.
is some need for new direction.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, so we have a motion made by Mrs. Whiteside, seconded by Mr. Titlebaum. All in favor, say aye. All opposed, say aye.
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 Any abstentions? So it's 0-5, and the motion fails.
In a letter of,
And we'll
We
get a
might,
letter
Mr.
to him.
Chairman.
We'll get a letter to Mike.
a letter of appreciation
Yes,
as well.
I was just going to say that.
We'll get it out to him.
This was not undertaken lightly by this
Understood.
board.
Okay, next.
We have constable appointments. There are 3. Can I read them all at the same time?
You may read them all together,
Okay.
yes.
Michael Diesso of 14 Kendrick Road, Wareham, Mass., as a constable to expire no later than June 30th, 2016. Ian Daly, 59 Linden Street, number 302 in Taunton, Mass., as a constable for the town of Wareham to expire no later than June 30th, 2016. Joel C. Thomas, 10 Canoe Way, East Bridgewater, Mass., as a constable for the town of Wareham to a term to expire no later than June 30th, 2016.
Okay, second?
Second.
All right, motion made by Ms. Whiteside, seconded by Mr. Holmes. Before we go on, somebody did send me, one of the constables sent me I don't know if you guys got it too.
We got it, we did.
Wanting us to appoint every 3 years. We
was just
appoint
gonna
every
ask you
year,
that question.
and it's really not that difficult to fill out a paper every year to get appointed to a constable if you're so interested.
What is the normal? Pat? What is
Well, there
it?
are some.
Well, there
Some
are
other
some that go
towns,
Some
three.
towns do 3, some don't. It's varies.
Do they don't pay, do they?
It's a variable, no.
So it's not a financial issue?
No, there's no financial issue.
It gives you the option of making sure they're doing their job.
Yeah, and this way here, if there was any issues, we'd be able to get to it sooner than,
When we had
than, you know.
Falmouth, yeah.
Yes.
Right.
So that works out pretty good, you know.
That's not a big deal.
All right, so, so I just want him to know that, no, we appoint every year. And make a point of it. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous, 500.
The next one on the agenda is the Library Board of Trustees. The reappointment of Roger Bacchieri, 15 Point Pleasant Circle, East Wareham, as a member of the Library Board of Trustees for the town of Wareham to a term to expire no later than June 30th, 2018.
Second.
All right, motion made by Ms. Whiteside, seconded by Mr. Holmes. Any discussion?
Just one point of order. His uncle was town clerk when I first served as selectman.
Okay.
Trivia.
Back in the candlelit days.
Trivia, and that's a point of order, is it? And that falls in
Point
as
of
a point of order?
information, I said. Turkey.
And that is recorded in the town parchments.
Parchments.
All right, so,
I moved it.
any discussion?
wake me up just laughing, it's good.
You, Mr. Holmes second, you were first.
Let's pick on Judy week.
Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous.
The next is a motion to appoint Richard Wheeler of 25 South Boulevard, Onset, Mass., as an associate member of the Marine Resources Commission
Oh,
to a
this is
term
a
to
good
expire no
appointment right
later
here.
than June 30th, 2016.
Second.
Everybody wants to second this one.
Yep.
Motion made by Ms. Whiteside.
Seconded by everybody
Seconded
else.
by everyone else. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous.
The next that I have is one for the Minot Forest Committee. Angela M. Dunham, 40 Oak Street, Wareham, Mass., as a member to the Minot Forest Committee to a term to expire no later than June 30th, 2020.
Second.
Sorry.
Okay, motion, you fell asleep down there, Mr. Holmes.
No, I was waiting for Alan to slide this one over.
Motion made by Ms. Whiteside, seconded by Mr. Titlebaum. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it's
I
unanimous.
did get it in.
The next is a reappointment for Jennifer Gady of 5 Twins Beach Lane, Wareham, as a member of the Recycling Committee to a term to expire no later than June 30th, 2018.
Six.
Motion made by Mr., that's, that a boy. Motion made by Ms. Whiteside, seconded by Mr.
I'm
Holmes.
on it.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstain, abstain unanimous. 500.
And then we have Board of Road Commissioners. Joseph J. Cardoza of 2801 Cranberry Highway, East Wareham, as a member to the Board of Road Commissioners for the town of Wareham to a term to expire no later than June 30th, 2018.
Okay, motion made by Ms. Whiteside, seconded by Mr. Holmes. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? Abstain, unanimous, 500. Next. That it?
Should be one more, but
Yes.
it's not there.
It's not, there isn't another one.
There isn't one,
That's what I
okay.
I believe there's another road commissioner.
There is
but
no
they have-
application.
They have not put an application to be renewed.
That's fine.
Correct.
When we get it, we'll do it.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
So for those of you who have just been appointed or reappointed, the paperwork will be in the Selectmen's office, and then you will need to go to the town clerk to be sworn in.
Okay, the next is up is a request for change of corporate name by BPOE.
Elks.
The Elks, yes. Lodge number 73.
Okay. We have a request for a change of name, of the corporate name, from Benevolent Protective Order of the Elks, Wareham / New Bedford Lodge 73, DBA BPOE Wareham / New Bedford Lodge 73, on their club alcohol to, is that what it's to? Yeah,
Who is here?
I don't know.
Oh, here we go.
Sorry. Guy D'Antonio, trustee for the Wareham New Bedford Lodge, number 73.
I'm gonna sit here, but I'm not gonna participate at all. I'm a member of the Elks, and I'm also the chairman of the audit committee for the Elks.
I
didn't
would
know you were an elk.
prefer that he leave the room.
Oh, you want Alan to leave?
The White Sox
Like
throwing
it
You
or
out.
never
leave?
asked us to join.
I'll be glad to leave.
Yeah, I think it's, I think just
No,
Okay.
not
We can't
fight. You
vote on
don't have to
licenses.
leave the room.
Yeah, why don't you?
in terms of,
Still a public
Let the
meeting.
record show that Mr.
Mr.
Slavin
Slavin
left-
is not present during the discussion,
was not present.
presentation, or the vote.
Okay,
Speak, please.
Basically, we have absorbed the New Bedford Lodge by Grand Lodge statute. Our name needed to change to Wareham New Bedford 73. Wareham New Bedford was a must. It was voted at our lodge that we would accept the 73 number from New Bedford versus the 1548 from Wareham. Thus, the name changed, BPOE, Wareham New Bedford 73.
okay.
As present, and you know that all the present licensing is in the name of Wareham, New Bedford, 1548. We need to now change that due to Grand Lodge statute.
Okay.
So it's a merger of entities as
Yes.
well as changing, it's like, and the charter would have been an earlier charter, the number 73 would have been an earlier charter
That is correct.
than the one that, okay. Thank you.
They were all numbered from 1 on up.
Right.
So that was an earlier number that everybody voted on.
Right. Thank you. Any other questions?
Mhm.
Then I move the change of the corporate name from the BPOE Wareham to BPOE Wareham / New Bedford, actually it's hyphen New Bedford Lodge, 73, 2855 Cranberry Highway, East Wareham, for the license,
Liquor license.
liquor license and annual club all alcoholic license.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Whiteside, seconded by Mr. Titlebaum. Is there any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 400. Thank you, sir.
On behalf of the Elks, I thank you.
All right, next up,
Thank you
tell
for all
Alan
you
he
do
can
as
come
well.
back. Come back in, Alan. Come back, come back.
Where did he go?
All right, we'll start going along here. Discussion, okay, this one is policy 89-4A, alcoholic beverage hours and closing. The reason why I put this on here was, we got a notice from the fan club the other day that they were gonna open at 10 o'clock on Saturday. Now, what's different here is that if you look in the blue book, it's not allowed. But we have sort of a policy that allows them to do something. We're not sure what. But basically, if they close early, they notify us and they can close. Any emergencies, they can notify us and do whatever. But what they're doing is actually extending their hours, which I thought was problematic. I don't think you can just change, I can see you shutting early, but I can't think that we are allowing them to change their hours without getting permission from us, you know what I mean? And I have a problem with that happening, and it's been happening on a regular basis, so I think we need to clarify this section to make sure that that's what we want to do, that we're allowing them to extend their own hours anytime they choose, or we're not, we're just, if they're going to extend them, they need to come to us, and this is just for a shortening. So that's why it's on here. So discussion. Go ahead, Peter.
Yeah, when I first heard you were concerned about this issue, the idea of opening early does potentially present some quality of life issues for abutters.
Right.
Even if you're typically opening at noon and you open at 10, you know, the noise starts a little earlier, the people pulling in start a little earlier. Now, whether that's a big deal or not, I guess is all in the eye of the beholder. You know, I don't think that it's always going to be a bad thing. But rather, as opposed to the shortening of hours, where you're lessening the impact, with the expansion of hours, you're expanding your potential impact. So I'm kind of with you on the need for these things to come before us for approval. I don't think such approval would be unreasonably withheld by this board. I think we've been pretty fair-minded about allowing the alcohol-serving establishments in town to operate. But I do think it's something we should at least discuss and talk about with council.
Go ahead, he asked for counsel, we'll get you in a second. Go ahead, could you want to weigh in on this? As far as, see, the Blue Book doesn't allow it at all. You can't allow them to do that, they have to come to us. So I just want to know where we stand on it.
Well, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, the way the liquor licensing hours laws work is that when you get a license, you are allowed to operate as of right after getting the license from the board between the hours of 11 a.m. and 11 p.m. That period from, I want to say it's 9 to 11 in the morning, and from 11 to conceivably 2 a.m., those are what are known as extra hours. And anybody who wants to get into the extra hour zone has to file an application with the Board of Selectmen for a modification of license. We have to go through the hearing process, and the board has complete discretion as to whether to allow it or not. There would be notice to abutters because this is a license modification.
What if it was a temporary thing? Just for
special
like
event.
one weekend?
Special event.
Because what happens is they do this maybe 3-4 times a year.
Oh,
So,
okay.
for tournaments.
Well, yeah, they would still have to come in front of you to get permission to do something like
Which
that on
makes
a
sense.
temporary basis.
No.
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 If
Mr.
it's
Chairman.
against the law, it's against the law.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead.
if I might, please. I was the chair when we did this a few years ago. We actually looked at this. And what really brought it to mind was Captain Al's, I think at the time, because he's on that special state work license, right? And so we talked about this, and one of the opinions of council at the time was, we're a seaside community. Things happen. There are special events in Onset in Wareham. And every once in a while, somebody may want to open at 10 o'clock, or instead of opening at noon, they have something going on, it starts at 11. And so, as the board, we actually, I believe you've attached the newer version of this to 2013. Sounds about right, Patrick, but I will go and look back and make sure.
I think that's the right one.
And then what we did was, we had all of the liquor license holders come in on a Tuesday night, I believe it was. And we had a discussion with them. We went through all the new policies with them. I don't think we made them sign off or anything. And that's why you see the emails starting, because back at that time, they didn't know they were leaving voice messages here. They didn't know who to call there. And so we said, okay, if you leave an email for the police, Kevin, at the time it was Chief Stanley, had to be on that, the police department, the Board of Selectmen. You know, if somebody had an objection about something that was coming up, they could always stand up and say, hey, wait, this is foul, I don't want to do this, and then we could all get together. But as a general rule, we were notified by email, and we accepted that as notification, instead of them filling out papers, coming in here on Tuesday to say, hey, I want to open an hour early on Saturday, I have a charity run. So that was the thinking behind it. So that's where we're at today.
Okay, go ahead.
I just would like to point out, and Mr. Holmes just mentioned it, we do from time to time get emails from a couple of license holders. Not everyone does that. The particular one I'm thinking about informs us when it is going to be closing early because of a storm, or, due to renovations or whatever. We do not, as a matter of course, get those emails from all of our license holders. I just want to point that out. And they're always closing notifications. They're not early opening notifications.
I thought that's what you were talking about.
No, we're talking about this, he's opening early, that's the thing here, this is an early
extending his
opening.
hours.
He
And
doesn't,
he didn't notice us?
yeah, he noticed us that he wanted to open at 10 o'clock in
Right.
the morning.
Right.
Instead, in other words, extend his hours.
I'm saying that the ones that we get now, that we've been getting,
Are shortened, closings.
are shortened ones. We've never been asked to go longer by email.
And in fact, it says in here, it says, in order to close for a minor renovation, 2 weeks, an emergency situation, et cetera, is required to notify with a letter.
Right.
It says, in these short-term situations, a letter must be submitted to the Board of Selectmen for advanced hours of closing. It doesn't say anything about extending your hours anywhere in our bylaw or anything in our policy. And see, that's what that's why it kind of, go ahead, maybe he can clarify this real quick for us.
Yeah,
Town council.
it does go back to what I was saying originally. When you grant an establishment, say you granted a liquor license to Duck Incorporated. And,
Duck and quack.
yeah, okay, Duck and Quack.
We've had a few quacks have a license before.
Well, well, you might say that, I can't comment. But, so, we've granted a license to Duck and Quack to operate between the hours of 11 a.m. and 11 p.m. That's the permission that they've got, that's what's on their license, that's all they can do. They can't open up before 11 a.m., they can't be open after 11 p.m. Now, if they want to open up on 10 a.m., be it one day, be it every day, they have to come before you because it's a license modification. They're in those extra hours. So the thing that's in the policy, which I know I had worked on a few years back, relates solely to early closings.
That's
And,
all it says.
Yeah, and we put in a lot of stuff in there to make it not unreasonable on the businessman to be able, or businesswoman, to be able to operate in a proper manner and to keep the public safety people involved in what they were doing. But extra hours, that's something that's got to come before you, and that is a very formal process because that's a license modification.
I agree, and that's why I brought it to your attention. The other thing is that if the board made a policy of such that was actually, sort of violating or making our own rule, it would have to be from board to board. So it would have to be year to year if you made that kind of policy. You know what I'm saying? It would have to be, we'd agree amongst ourselves, because some selectmen might say, like you, hey, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. They live next, this thing's opening up next to 3 residents. I don't think the residents are gonna be happy. I don't want them to open. Maybe, I'm not saying that's the case.
Right.
Okay, and it probably isn't, because they've done this before. But the point is that it should come in front of us, and that's what I thought, but I wanted to clarify it, and that's why it's on here. So, I get the idea the board wants to follow it to its degree, and from now
Absolutely.
on, we'll notify them that they need to come in front of us for these extensions.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
Would you like that in a motion?
Yeah, could I?
Sure. That, I move that any changes of hours granted under an alcoholic license of any sort be.
Well, except closings,
except
extending hours.
extension of hours, be brought before the Board of Selectmen within a reasonable period of time in order for the selectmen to make a
Okay,
reasonable, informed decision.
okay, motion made by Ms. Whiteside, seconded by Mr. Titlebaum. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous. Okay, good. All right, next is the discussion with Ms. Porter, who was nice to get on the agenda so we can tate-a-tate. Come on down. And you have something to do with this, I know, right?
Oh, absolutely. And
Okay,
actually,
good.
I did bring raffle
'Cause-
tickets, so if anybody wants to buy them.
I did almost fall off the chair putting it up there.
tickets.
Oh, I'm sorry that happened. I did bring my little duck display.
How do you like Judy's duck? Look at Judy's duck over here.
Oh, I know.
all
I
painted
see
up?
that, yes.
How much
Well,
are
I
the
have a,
tickets? 3?
and I did bring extra ducks too, not too many. I was at the, getting my hair done, and my hairdressing establishment bought ducks.
There you go.
So, anyway, the duck race, is June 14th. We will start registration at 1 p.m. and the duck race will start at 2. I was up at
Milky Way?
Taihonet Village today. We were
Dark
going to do a test run, but the water was a little low, so I left my ducks there, and they'll do the test run. Were they in a row? They were in a bag, sorry, Judy.
In a bag?
But anyway, so they're going to
Ducks in a
test
bag?
them. I did happen to see Michael Hogan last Wednesday at the Makepeace Neighborhood presentation. He told me they're holding water back in the pond, so we will have a nice current when we do the race.
Shh, don't do it.
It's over.
Should I wait?
She's done.
Forget
That's it, it's all over.
It's done.
All over but the crying towel over here.
That's it?
We're going to have to put a bunch of ducks in a, put them in groups.
In a
but-
row?
No, they're gonna be in a basket or a bucket, and we'll have one person toss them in. Because there isn't enough room on the bridge to have people line up to do that. But we will still do kind of age groups. There'll be a number of races. We've gotten a number of very exciting duck gifts for the winners. We will have music. We have a donation by Mike Kudo. He is a folk singer and songwriter. He has given us an hour of his time to entertain people. He's local. He's
From New
Wareham.
Bedford? Mike
Well,
Kudo?
yeah, well, he said he was formerly
You're
with
from
Kudo and
Kudo and Mulligan.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, he's
Yeah.
great. He's
Yeah.
really great.
Um,
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
Okay, well, he's donating music for our event.
Wow.
I'm wearing duck jewelry.
We won't hold that against you.
And we will have duck jewelry for sale. And my necklace, and I guess we'll have duck earrings too. Huh? Oh, the bracelets are $10.
Wow.
Necklaces, I'm not sure. I think, as I said, my sister makes them. She donated these to our cause, so I didn't have to pay for them. But it will be a really fun day. We are selling ducks. We're encouraging people to decorate. We will give prizes for best decorated ducks. Yeah, we're decorating. We were using that term. I didn't know if I should or not.
Decorating.
But I just am looking forward to it being a really fun day for people. We'll raise some money and we'll have a good time. Taihonet Village store will be open, so there'll be ice cream and whatever you want from there. Prior to our event is the Kiwanis 5K race. And we're encouraging, come early so you can cheer their winners in, their racers, and stay and enjoy our duck race with all the ducks in a row.
We'll also notice that throwing these ducks in the water, unlike throwing other things into bodies of water, is not littering.
No, it is not, and they are going to be retrieved.
Thank
M&D
you.
Mike Bait Shop has put together a net that's going to stop them going under the road and continuing on their way. And actually, I've got to try and get some pool nets so we can scoop them out. People can take their ducks back home with them. We are not going to keep them. So,
Are you gonna dress like a duck?
She already has somebody
you
who
jump
has
off the bridge?
volunteered to be a duck.
Somebody-
Not me.
You're gonna volunteer?
No.
well,
you know what?
No.
it's being
You know what I'm
worked
gonna say?
on.
Go in there and get those ducks. Get in that water.
The volunteer duck is depending on whether or not they can get the right costume. So there's possibility of us having a duck walking around for a short time.
There we go.
and maybe we'll find some ducklings to follow them. But we also, moving on to another, as you know, Anita Shreve appeared at Wareham, and there was a event at the Catanza Club. We now have for sale the interview at the library. I actually watched this. It's about 45 minutes long. It's very good. So we will be selling these at our book sales and at the library. They're $5 a piece, which is also a fundraiser. And of course,
There
the
we go.
quilt. The quilt, we will pull the winner at the duck race, so you can still get tickets. I did bring a few tickets with me. I actually have about 4 ducks. And I have the DVDs for anybody that might want them here this evening. And I also want to thank everybody that came to our book sale. We had a very successful book sale. We did have people turn up to clean at the library. They all got a coupon for a free book at a future book sale. And I think that's everything I have for the moment.
All right, any questions from the board?
The raffle tickets are $5 a piece.
Go ahead, Mr. Titlebaum.
Thanks for all your work.
Oh, it's a pleasure, labor of love.
Anybody else?
No, it's just Ducky. That's it.
Thank you, Ducky. Thank you. All right, can we go through the list of duck jokes and get them out?
Yeah, Mrs. Whiteside's all set. I got waiters for her.
Waiters, she's going in.
Yeah,
You
I'm
get in
doing a
that water.
transaction. Steve, I don't have any change.
Thank you, Mrs.
Oh, okay.
Porter.
Oh, I'll get out of here in a second. And I thank you.
Thank you.
Uh,
All right. Who's gonna read some duck jokes?
No, he's not.
Oh, go ahead. Oh, kidding me? Town council wants to read some duck jokes. Hang in there.
Is that in lieu of
Come on down.
Is that gonna be in lieu of payment?
Is, you know, is that in lieu of the bill?
Do you know what ducks and lawyers have in common?
What?
A bill.
A what? A bill?
That's mine.
You just made that up.
Yes, he did.
did.
On the fly.
On the fly.
What time does a duck wake up? At the
Uh,
quack of dawn.
At the qu-
Who stole the soap? The rubber ducky. What do you call 2 ducks and a cow?
Thank you.
Quackers and milk. What do you get if you cross a duck with fireworks? A firecracker. Yeah, I think so too.
All right. Next up is any other town business not reasonably anticipated in the last 48 hours. What? That's it. Oh, yeah. It's on the other side. Mr. Titlebaum. Mr. Holmes. Mr. Slavin.
Just the question we had about the signs.
Well, it seems to me,
Seems like something's going on.
go ahead. Yeah, we're gonna need some counsel on this. Because the way, and I'm not sure you're even prepared for this.
I can frame the question anyway.
All right, go ahead.
In our bylaws, it states that the selectmen are the authority for signs that go along roadways. In the zoning bylaw at section 1110, it states that all different sorts of signs come under the purview of Director of Inspection Services. So it appears that there are either concurrent or competing jurisdictions here.
I think the bylaw talks about town property, which doesn't really conflict with the sign bylaw.
You want some time with that
No,
one?
the sign bylaw is kind of out of this. This is really the contest,
Rich,
if you
we
will,
can come
between
back.
the zoning
right.
bylaw and the...
You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna hold that off and go on, and then we'll come, Rich, let him do a little homework.
Yeah, there's signs were put out today.
Well, we have signs out there.
The,
The
Keep
signs,
Wareham clean.
keep Wareham clean signs.
Don't trash Wareham signs.
They did,
Yeah,
but somebody's taking some of the signs down. We don't know what's going on.
we're gonna get to that. All right, town administrators report, please.
Sucks.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The first item I have is what a lot of people have been asking about, and that's the water at the cemeteries. The water at the cemeteries will be turned on after July 1st. which is the new fiscal year. We know that this is disheartening to family members. It is also discouraging to the town staff who take pride in keeping the cemeteries clean to honor the deceased. I have been asked several questions about the Perpetual Care Fund and who pays for the maintenance of the cemeteries. The Perpetual Care Trust Fund currently has a balance of $338,641. However, we cannot expend those funds. We can only expend the interest earned on those monies. The current interest rate is 0.15%, which means that we would have a total of $507.96 to fund the mowing, raking, mulching, snow plowing, fuel, machine maintenance, and water bills, to name a few, for all of the town's cemeteries. Simply, the term perpetual care is a misnomer, as there's no way that $200 could earn enough interest to fund the care of a grave lot in perpetuity. So how do we fund the maintenance? The municipal maintenance budget subsidizes the cemeteries. That is why the vandalism of stealing brass spigots and the vandalism of purposely leaving water running and costing thousands of dollars in water bills is something that we simply cannot absorb. We're working through the options on how to make sure the systems cannot be left to run, such as automatic shutoffs after the meter. We understand that this has been disappointing to those that have their loved ones in the town cemeteries. Our goal is always to honor and respect those that have been interred with the town cemeteries. I hope that everyone can understand that this is a temporary setback and that the goal is to make sure that we do not run into the same issue again. Thank you on that. The next item is line painting. Line painting will be done town-wide starting Monday, June 15th through Friday, June 19th. Most crosswalks will also be done at that time. This is being paid for by the one-time funds released by Governor Baker that were released to help the towns with road maintenance after this winter's record-setting storms. So we appreciate the help. The town received over $108,000 from that. And believe it or not, that's what it costs to restripe the roads in this town as well as the crosswalks. We anticipate there'll be, since we're hiring private contractors, that there will most likely be several crosswalks in outlying areas that they'll not be able to get to through these funds. We will do them through the municipal maintenance department. We have the revenue figure for the parking kiosks. The May revenues were $11,423.75. Last May, we did not start until the 31st of the month and earned $219.25. We expect a loss of revenue from the Shell Point parking lot. If you remember, the beach and dump stickers are now allowed in the Shell Point parking lot, and those that have those stickers do not have to pay for the kiosks. So this is an excellent way to offset the revenue and make sure that we are helping the residents of this town to have the availability to park at Shell Point. And the last item is, as the ZBA has been a point of sorrow with losing the 3 members. I was able to attend last week on what I believe is an important item for the town. And that was the electronic billboard located on Cranberry Highway, 3077 Cranberry Highway. The chairman of the Board of Selectmen was there to speak, as was the chief of police. And the zoning board of appeals approved, I believe it was by majority, there was nobody assenting to it, for that billboard to go up. That will mean every year for the next 25 years, $10,000, unless they do the other side as well, which we hope that they will. Yep. So a total of $250,000. That's not from the backs of the taxpayers. As well, we also have the opportunity to put Amber Alerts up there, and we have a minimum of 5 hours of public service time. We can put town meeting, the Wareham Scholar of the Month, the Student Athlete of the Month can be put on there. We can showcase what's being done in our schools, that the children go to institutions such as Harvard that graduate from Wareham. We can put that the 4th of July fireworks is coming up, that there's what, a 6-quack of ducks available that you can purchase. Oh, but it's
Six pack of ducks?
6-quack.
Six quack of ducks.
But it's every now and again, these things slip through that people don't realize that's really important when we get it done. So I appreciate the help from the chairman, the chief of police in speaking, and the Board of Selectmen as a whole going behind this and supporting it. So thank you very much.
Peter, you have something you want to jump in?
With regard to the sidewalk painting, we're getting the green laying down the middle back, right? Because the white stripes just don't have the same visibility and safety for the pedestrians.
I didn't know you were Irish.
He isn't.
Mine is.
Yes,
I don't
the,
think your mic.
No,
It is?
our mics are both on.
Oh, you're hiding it behind the ribbon. Okay.
Don't make it easy, do you?
No, I don't.
So I believe that's what Mr.
Judy,
Menard
take
is
care of
doing.
your son.
So.
The other thing is, with respect to the pedestrian crosswalk signs themselves, the actual signs on the posts on Main Street, they are set at a perfect height to screen a pedestrian from an oncoming car. They need to be moved higher up on those standards so that people can actually see the person waiting at the edge of the road to cross, because right now they might not be wide enough to cover all of us, but perhaps some of us. And they do present a bit of a screen for the drivers as they're coming towards them. So perhaps some thought could be given to moving those up so that the pedestrians are more visible.
Well, yeah, I mean, pedestrians really need to be better targets in this town. Having stood beside the road for 3 hours and almost being hit by a motorcycle, despite the fact we had a traffic, sort of jam.
We had a traffic cop right here.
Yeah, the speed limit on that section of road
Oh.
actually is 35 miles an hour. If there were 7 people
had that big
doing
fluorescent
that
vest.
or less, I will,
Eat a duck?
I'm not eating a duck. But I got to tell you guys, I have no idea what you're all flying through town. If I'd had a radar gun, I could have made $10,000 in tickets. And if we stuck a cop in the middle of town on any day, 8 o'clock in the morning, you take your life in your hands, crossing the road. It's like target shooting.
I wouldn't stand there if I was you. All right, anybody else? No. Okay.
Just,
No,
uh,
go ahead.
Just for Mr. Sullivan as well. There was mention about the ZBA. One of our citizens actually came in and called me. Charlie Rowley, who's been town engineer for years, has done a lot of work, and he made an offer which I thought was really nice. It's going to be on the agenda for the ZBA at the next meeting, which is the second week of the month on a Wednesday. They meet the second and fourth week. He volunteered to help the ZBA through their transition time by being there as a volunteer when they have their meetings. So when they have issues that require Mass General law and some of the details and stuff that he's obviously an expert in for years, he will be there to assist them. And this will be done for free. There's no charge, et cetera. So I'd like to thank Mr. Rowley publicly ahead of time, and hopefully the ZBA will be able to step up and take advantage. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to go back to the 24-hour item that we were dealing with. Big councils.
Sorry, I had one more thing, but it was
Oh, okay,
it was
go ahead.
just real quick, and it had
Yeah,
to
go
do
ahead.
with the crosswalks as well. At the beginning of the season, the question was why we didn't put out the we have the little signs for the crosswalks in the middle. Well, they were stolen last year. Please stop stealing the crosswalk signs and other items. Just please.
All right, back to the 48-hour situation with the signs, and I believe council has an opinion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. 2 scenarios: public property, private property. Okay, we'll start with public property. You've got 3 levels. Number 1 is the Board of Selectmen, town administrator, acting as quote-unquote the property owner or the custodians of the public property. If somebody wants to put a sign up on public property, they need permission. Then you have the building inspector and Division 3, Article 4 of the general bylaws, the sign bylaws, which says that signs must be located in a safe manner and to the satisfaction of the inspector of buildings. That's a safety issue. You know, are they securely attached to something so when you get a bit of a breeze, they're not going to fly and hit somebody? You know, things like that. So that safety aspect of it falls within the jurisdiction of the building inspector. So public property, your permission needed first. Assuming permission is granted, or if we're dealing with private property, it's got to be put up in a safe manner to the satisfaction of the building inspector. Okay, third level of regulation, the zoning bylaw. You have a sign bylaw, and I'm not even going to attempt to address the requirements of the sign bylaw, but they are quite extensive and detailed. So if you're going to put a sign up, you probably want to check the sign bylaw so that even if you had permission from the Board of Selectmen and the town administrator, even if your sign was going to be put up in the most safe manner possible, you'd want to make sure that it complied with the zoning requirements and that it was a permissible sign underneath the zoning bylaws. So they are interlocking requirements. You can read them harmoniously. Property owner, building inspector, safety, and then sign bylaw, zoning board of appeals. Is it allowed in that particular zone? That's how the whole thing works.
Okay, all right, so everybody gets what, you understand what's going on there? All right, so I would like to see, yeah, we control it if they want to put them on town property.
He said, I don't understand what's going on here.
Okay, well, we have, see, the whole purpose of the sign bylaw that we spend all that time doing was so that these signs didn't just exist everywhere. People were throwing signs up on telephone poles, anywhere they wanted to. We didn't want that. As a matter of fact, this weekend, we took down, while we were out there trashing, all the signs, all the illegal signs we could find that were on poles, that were on town property. We took them all down and we trashed them. And I can tell you, because I must have taken 300 of them down myself. Okay? So they're all gone. And as a matter of fact, I happened to drive around, looked really nice, you know? So then the folks wanted to make a point out of this trash issue, which is a community thing, which we want them to be able to do for whatever length of time we decide. So they went out there, and then, of course, people are saying, well, you can't do it because the sign bylaw doesn't allow it. Do they need permission? Do they need this? That's why this is all in front of us at this point. The signs are out now. Somebody's running around taking them down. We think it might be municipal maintenance that's running around taking them down. We're not sure.
Yeah.
We know that they have a town truck.
It's not them. They have green trucks, not white trucks.
All right, so if it's a white truck,
Inspection.
water, right? Water.
Inspectionals
The
or
states are
water.
yellow. State trucks are yellow. Town sign?
Yeah, the water department has a
Water
town sign
department?
too.
Okay.
No.
All right, so they're taking them down. So if I understand it, Rich, if we vote to allow them to have them for X number of days, whatever, right? Then hypothetically, they can have them on town property, is that right?
Yes, assuming that, if the building inspector sees one that looks pretty dodgy, might fly
Well, he-
off,
well, he
whatever.
can deal with that.
He can deal with that. So get permission from the board, from the TA on public property, and as long as there isn't some sign bylaw issue, that's fine.
It falls under the temporary sign or the public information sign.
Yep.
The only problem you have is one of them only allows 2 square feet.
All right, so let's have a motion to allow the
You don't
signs.
have to deal with the ZBA on this because of that, because the Director of Inspection Services can sign off on that.
Let's have a motion that allows them to have the towns on public property, on town property,
Motion so made.
for
Second.
30 days maximum, because we can't let this go on
You two
forever.
might want to stay out of the motions
We can't let this go on forever.
because you're part of that group.
It's no official group. We're not incorporated or anything. Go ahead, you can make the motion.
No, I'm just trying to keep
So,
anybody from squawking
Make a
about it.
motion, and let's have
Go ahead.
a length of time.
I move to allow Don't Trash Wareham, or the group known as Don't Trash Wareham, so-called, to place signs asking the public to keep the town clean on town property and along town roads for a period not exceeding 30 days.
Do I hear a second?
Second
Okay.
question.
Motion made by
Stevens,
Mr.
question.
Titlebaum,
Discussion.
seconded by Mr. Holmes. Go ahead, Mr. Holmes, what's your question?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No, it's actually, I meant to say discussion. I gotta tell you, when I got off the highway tonight and saw the signs, I wasn't too tickled about them. These are the types of signs that many of our business folk and many of us think are litter. And they litter our towns, as you suggest, with telephone poles. I understand the thank you, I understand the meaning. And what I was gonna do tonight, I haven't spoken to my buddy yet, but I was gonna offer to Mrs. Whiteside that if she could come up with a number, and I was thinking maybe 10 to 15, because I have seen these before, and we'll get some nice signs made up, I'm afraid, through some art school or through some kids program. You don't, is there a problem with Mr. Titlebaum? You're shaking your head no at me, I'm making a statement.
I just think they've already gone out and bought a lot of signs.
I'm not, okay, but this for the chairman,
Yeah.
this on a motion for 30 days.
Yeah.
My discussion is more on a permanent basis, and I was gonna talk to Mrs. Whiteside about this, was that we, if that's the direction that we wanna have some of these nice signs with the logos that say, hey, you know, we wanna have a clean town, let's try to keep it clean. Some towns put those at the entrances of their towns, like you see the Knights of Columbus and the
I see what
Lions
he's
Club. And the business guys,
No, that's not a bad idea.
and the business guys who are complaining about these litter signs, I can go to them and say, look, you know, the people went out, they're continuing this trash project, but we want to have some nice signs and get them to pony up the money for it, as opposed to these yard placards that end up blowing and kids throw them around. And I know because we've all spent a fortune on these and they end up somewhere, right? Not quite as big as your signs, Mr. Chairman. But, no, they have some really nice pole signs that some kids could do. There are youth programs who do these signs. And I know a lot of business guys who would pony up the cash. That's what I was going to suggest to Mrs. Whiteside tonight. But, yeah, the 30 days, I don't have an issue with that. And, you know, and if they decide to go in that direction, and it takes us a little bit longer to get them made, right? I wouldn't be opposed to extending it either.
We basically have done that before. We talked about, when we talked about the no litter in the last 6 months in particular, we talked actually with the town administrator, I guess we all forgot, about having signs made as you enter Wareham in different places. The issue has been we didn't have the money available through the municipal maintenance to make the signs. So this is something we can do. You can actually ask Upper Cape, but unfortunately Upper Cape on the 19th of June is out for the season. Till
Well,
they
they're
come
not
back in
the
the
only
fall.
ones who do this.
No, but just, the problem is, it's not easy to get done. So we can add this in, because this would then become a town project. Right now, this project is strictly, 5 citizens got together and did this with no funding or anything else. So it's 2 different things. We can do it on our, as a town, we can vote on it, because we talked about it before doing it. Because at this point here, we're at the stage where we've made the first step. I know I'll be going out, and Mrs. Whiteside probably, to visit businesses starting tomorrow. I've already contacted Cumberland Farms, Carmen, about the issue, and she's very concerned because they've got programs of their own about putting signs in their windows in their business, et cetera. And the first step really is to see if we can do this on a volunteer basis. If we can't get this to work, the next step, of course, is to come up with, Patrick knows, I've never seen a fee I don't like. We can't set taxes, we can't, you know, do certain things, but there's certain things we can do. Also, the sign bylaw, just as an example, has a provision in it that allows the Director of Inspectional Services to assign other people to enforce the sign bylaw, not just him. And the same thing can be done if we want to change our litter policies and stuff. We can also have other people assigned to do litter just besides that. So there's a lot of things we can do. This is just the beginning of the start. So, you know, I'm
Okay.
completely in agreement with what Steve is talking about, but it's the next step along the way. This is our first one. I know I spent 2 hours today picking up trash already, which really aggravates me to no end that I have to do something after one day. And I'm kind of old to sit there with a back issue and have to bend down and pick stuff up and everything else, so,
Are we sure that they can read the signs?
no.
When they throw litter around, maybe they can't read the signs.
Yeah,
Okay, that's the end of my discussion.
All right.
Go ahead, Mr.
yeah,
All right, so there's a motion made and seconded. Any discussion finished? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous.
Abstain.
Okay, so it's
I'm
The two of us have to
4-0, 4-0-1.
no, 3.
3
abstain
and
too?
2.
I have to.
Yes.
All right, so 302. All right, 302. All right. I need another motion, because the Relay for Life signs are out there, and we've done the same thing. We need to give them the same permission. And we need to give them the permission until June
Make a
27th, when
motion
it's their
that
event.
we
Second.
allow the
Until
Relay
June
for Life
26th.
signs to be put up until the event has been completed.
Okay, motion made by Mr. Holmes. Do I hear a
Second.
Seconded by Mr. Titlebaum. Is there any more discussion?
No.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, abstain, it's unanimous. Okay, beautiful. We've resolved that issue, and we're moving on. Thank you very much. All right,
May I
next
just
up,
make
Mr.
a
Chairman.
statement?
yeah, go ahead. Huh?
We'll find out.
Yeah, we'll see if we can find them for you. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, if, I don't know if Mr. Slavin would allow for just 1 second to speak about that. It has to do with the trash. We actually tried one of the new restaurants in town, and exiting it was pretty interesting what we saw. So
What?
Oh, you mean the stuff I had to pick up after we left?
it was when we left this restaurant, El Mariachi downtown, I looked over, and they had their own little trash bin on the wall in the inside area, and one of the little litter sweepers. And we'd seen one of them go out there sweeping up litter in front of them. It was immaculate. And then we looked over to one of the other places.
There's a corner right next to it.
There's a whole bunch of trash. Went over there and
Gotta go
picked it
pick it
up.
up.
So
Absolutely, yeah, I had an accident. The other piece, I just make a comment, I'm sorry to keep pushing on this issue. Where I grew up, which really doesn't matter, we were responsible
Guess you're not.
in our neighborhood for, in front of our house, and these were 3-decker apartments, we were responsible for the sidewalk, we were responsible for the grass or the dirt in front there, we were responsible for the curb, and we were responsible for the gutter. And every business had the same issue. We don't have a bylaw in place for the town of Wareham that has that, but you know what? If we can't get this to go, then I'll be bringing forth for the fall town meeting a bylaw just to do just
Anyone?
that. So I'm asking right now for our residents and our businesses to volunteer and do this, because it's a nice way to do it. I hate to be there with more government, because I really don't like more government, but we may end up that way. Thank you.
All right, Ms. Whiteside, please. Please, go right ahead.
I really, while I understand your comments about the signs themselves, I think what you're really missing is the fact that 300 people over a 2-day period picked up tons of trash. Tons of trash. Most of the people who picked up the trash were able to take it home with them and get it into their own trash. However, there were something like 20 mattresses, 4 couches, fencing
Air
and
conditioners.
air conditioners, TVs,
A toilet.
toilet. It's just incredible to me that people are such pigs. And I mean that. And so while I don't lose sight of the absolutely positive results of asking people to pick it up and keep it clean, because it does impact our property values, it does impact what people think about the town, it does impact everything. Part of it's called the broken window theory. You see a whole bunch of broken windows, so you pick up a rock and lob it at the last pane of glass. No more. No. I also discovered today that it's actually against the law to throw cigarette butts out of your car. So knock it.
Yeah, there is, yeah.
Oh, there is a law.
You're throwing fire out the window.
Yeah.
So
Violation of state fire code.
it's, having spent a lot of time in the pucker brush with the boys, it was fun. We got a lot done. But why did we have to do it in the first place, I guess, is the question that I would ask the people who were watching tonight. And just because it's not your property and there's a piece of junk here, could you walk the 5 feet and bag it and take it away?
I'm going to get you a soapbox.
I just want to make one more point. When we had our SERPED meeting on last Wednesday, Claire was there and Angela were there, and we had the chairman of the SERPED commission, got appointed again, and he was up there talking, and not only was it unsolicited, he just started off, and the first thing he did, he wanted to thank Wareham for how much their appearance in the town improved. His mother lives here. He goes through the town every day through to see her on the way to Howard to work, And I think at 2 different times during his presentation of acceptance and everything, he mentioned the town of Wareham and how much work they had done, and how good the place worked and everything else. It really works when you take some pride in what you do stuff. And I thought that was quite unusual for someone to do that. That's all I have to say.
All right, thank you.
I'm done.
All right, first thing, before we do liaison reports, because we know we have some people waiting, I need to add someone as the liaison to the recycling committee. Who wants it?
Mrs. Whiteside will do that.
It's, no, first of all, there is a liaison, and that person has not been able to make the meetings, and so the committee, the recycling committee has asked if that person can't do it, if we
If you
could
want to do
replace
it,
you.
go right ahead. That's me.
I don't want to do it.
I haven't been.
We could for you.
Who wants to do it?
I have every difficult committee in the town so far, and, give me a
What
break.
are you saying?
I'm saying you can do it.
No, leave it to Peter then.
Huh?
Peter can do it.
Dog lawyer.
I could do my best to try harder.
Well,
But if have
they
meetings
meet
and
once a
I'm not-
month.
And I'm not here, I can't help.
Well,
No, I know, and
problematic, yeah.
that's, we understand that.
Dog lawyer. I think this is a good one for you.
I move that Mr. Titlebaum be assigned the
Second.
liaison.
Second.
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Whiteside, seconded by Mr. Slavin. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining?
Aye.
It's unanimous. How do you like that? Even you voted for yourself. All right, okay,
My
liaison
liaison
reports.
report, may I
And
ask?
let's do Mr. Slavin's first, because he's going to bring down that whole group there.
He
okay?
is?
Yeah.
He is? How come
Yeah.
I don't get to?
You had
We
it
can both
under
do it
yours.
if you like.
You can both do it. No, I thought it was.
They're competing over trash here.
Another one. Who else is coming? Oh, they're not coming. Right, so you can do it. I don't care.
yourself a hug.
You bring him down, Mr. Slavin, please. Let's get this done. Come on.
Okay,
Liaison reports,
Let-
Mr. Slavin.
the report for today basically has to do again with this past weekend, with all the work everybody did. As said, we had over 300 people participating. Jamie's here, Nora's here. We had a group of, basically what's happened is we had 5 people get together. We finished the election year, et cetera, and everything else, and we were looking for things to do, and the trash had been something that everybody's really aggravated with. This year was probably the worst year ever as far as stuff on the road. The snow and everything hit things pretty well because we had a lot of snow and the growth, and all of a sudden, it basically looked like hell in town. We had basically 5 people step up and put together one hell of a program and kept at it, and it worked really well. We get sponsorship from all over as far as people stepping up and doing stuff. We had all parts of the community. We had a few roads that we didn't hit well enough. Kind of disappointed a little bit because that means the people living on the road weren't concerned enough and complained. But my comment is, it's your road, fix it. And I just wanted to thank everybody for what happened, because it was something that went smoothly. There was no difficulties. There was no infighting or anything at all. The group just smoothly went along and just kept asking, and more people stepped up. And we're hoping that this is just the beginning of a long-term process. I just wanted to thank both of you, for what's been done. Jamie did a huge amount of work on the website and everything else, getting it up and putting up pictures and everything, and trying not to aggravate too many people when they responded the wrong way. And Nora just sat there and just worked. And obviously Nora was putting up signs today.
Nora does what Nora does.
Yep. Mary Bruce was also there, which isn't here today. But there's a lot of other people involved. But
Gary Buckminster, who was actually the first one to have one of these.
oh yeah, and of course Gary had no choice this time.
Sorry?
Gary had no choice this time either.
He had no choice.
No. Yes. Go ahead, please.
Oh, well, thank you. For the record, Nora Bickey and Jamie Raban is with me today, 2 of the members of our trash team. And we just wanted to, you've pretty much said what we wanted to say, but we also have a few people to thank, and that would be the town administrator, the director of municipal maintenance, the harbor master, and the superintendent for helping us find locations for trash disposal. And all of the selectmen who were picking up trash, Selectman Titlebaum, Selectman Whiteside, Selectman Tropiano, and Selectman Slavin, who are out there hauling bags, bringing the trash to the disposal sites, working very hard on their own time, volunteering, and we appreciate that as well. And for the more than 300 people who were out there, We also want to thank them, individuals, families, neighborhood groups, civic organizations, and of course, many, many students were involved. The Boys and Girls Club also, getting the youth involved in town, I think is very important, and that's a great step. So I also wanted to thank a lot of the businesses who donated our supplies. We will have the lists of all of those people up on our website, so I won't be going through all of those right now. Too many to list. But the reason for the signs, just to let everybody know, is that the first stage of this project is litter removal. But if you don't do litter prevention, you get more litter that needs to be removed. So the psychology behind the signs is that instead of shaking your finger at people for dumping trash, you get them to take pride in their town, and I've got the Wareham and the Onset one, to take pride in their town, and they're less likely to litter to do that. So this is the second stage. If we had just done the litter removal without following up, it wouldn't have had the same kind of an impact. This keeps it in people's mind, and hopefully when our summer people come here, they'll take pride in the town too, and understand that people in town aren't going to accept the kind of littering that we've seen so far. So that's the second stage. The other things that we will be doing is we'll be working with the children over the summer. We'll be doing more education programs, and so we'll be continuing. So I guess I'll be back out getting signs up, and I thank you for giving us that permission. So anyway, that's all we wanted to say tonight, is we just
You know,
really wanted-
Nora, there's a nice little Volvo out there that would make a great display vehicle, and I have a screw gun and some sheet metal screws, and you could just screw them right to the side. A little
Do I know
Volvo.
whose Volvo that is?
Little Volvo wagon out here. I'm talking about your Volvo wagon. Who's do you think I'm talking about?
Whatever, I don't know whose it is, but anyway.
And I got a nice screw
I'll
gun.
be happy to.
Right in the
give it.
sides.
I've got some in my trunk.
Or we could turn a certain select woman into a human sandwich board.
So anyway, Steve, that's the concept behind this, is that you get the community to get behind it. And so the people who weren't even out picking up the trash may be more aware of the fact that we don't like to see litter in our town. So that's our purpose.
All right, anybody have any questions they would like to ask of these young ladies? No? All right,
How long till the next one?
hold on.
What?
How long till the next?
Till the next cleanup?
Yeah,
Tomorrow.
Wouldn't it be wonderful if we didn't have to do another cleanup?
wouldn't it?
It took less than 24 hours for
Some stuff.
Mattress Boy to strike.
But you know, you have to train people. You have to, I mean, you can't expect overnight people to change bad habits. But when other people are watching you, when you know that other people in town are looking at you, you're less likely to start throwing.
You gotta hit him in the nose with a rolled-up newspaper.
You know what, I'll probably get in trouble for saying this, but as I was sitting back there, I got a text message from a friend who said that Walker's Beds on Cranberry Highway was appalled when he heard that a mattress was just chucked out. So he said, you know, if it's there tomorrow, I'll go get it. But I happened to see another mattress on my way in, so I alerted him to that mattress.
You know, unfortunately, I think I sent you a note, Jamie. I think I may have posted it, though, instead of I was sending you a message. I think I posted it Sunday. We had a similar thing in Sandy Springs.
You did
And
tell
it
me
was
that.
like a road that goes by the country club, which is a pretty nice little neighborhood, right? But when you get past that, there's an apartment complex, and then there's nothing. It's woods. And they were doing the same thing there. So we're not alone here when it comes to this. I mean, you have to go down this road I'm talking about, you have to go out of your way to go past that apartment house. And it was the same thing. The guy had the truck, and there were people there full of mattresses and all kinds of furniture. They had appliances as well. I don't know if you found any of our
yes.
famous
yes.
appliances this weekend, but they had like washers and dryers and stuff in the back of this truck. People are pigs, and they're intentionally pigs. These are not accidents. Oh, well, it blew out of the car, right? These are people they're just pigs. And the only way to catch them is to try to catch them and make them pay. And when you find them, you make them pay that fine. You don't let them get away with it.
We're gonna need some machinery and a dump truck to clean out
Cameras.
up behind Tedeschi's up in Shangri-La. There's a lot of refrigerators and appliances and things up there that has to get out of there, and I'm gonna try to get a machine up there that can lift all that stuff into the back of my dump truck. See if I can get it out of
People
there.
used to fix those and recycle them, they
Yeah,
didn't bother, they just threw them in the woods.
It's really quite a mess up there behind Tedeschi's.
Yep.
Well, you know, we can probably find some people to help you, Patrick. I
Well,
mean,
the
we've got
machine
people
will lift them
volunteering.
pretty easily, you know,
We
but
have people volunteering all the time. I can't tell you how many people emailed us today or posted on the Facebook page how happy they were to see the signs, how
Right.
grateful they were to see the trash picked up.
Mm-hmm.
So people really are appreciative. You know, there are the people who trash, but there are way more people in town who don't, because if everybody did, you would know it. So we have to think positively about this and, you know, rather than get too upset about the negatives, we have to keep working to make it a positive project. And I think we'll get there. It may take a while.
yes, Miss Whiteside.
I gotta say, there's a term in town hall, and it's actually a verb, to be white-sided. I guess I'm. I guess
like
a person who can't stand stuff, and so I have asked different offices in the town hall if I could help them, you know, weed through their stuff. And I started with the town clerk's office, and they were thrilled when I left, not because I left, but because I took a lot of trash with me. The assessor's office, the accountant's office, the collector's office, the town administrator's office. So, you know, I'm one of those people who can't stand disorder. I had more fun on Sunday from 9 to noon or whatever it was with these guys in the pucker brush on the Narrows, you know, highway, cutting down weeds and sending them down into the bushes and thinking, oh my God, you know, we're breaking a wetlands law, we're retrieving that piece of plastic. Well, the piece of plastic shouldn't have been there, but, you know. I have to say that I saw my fellow selectmen in an entirely different light than I'd seen them before. It was fun, and I really don't think picking up other people's cigarette butts, and that was the cleanest thing I can think of. But, you know, we got a lot of positive honks and thumbs up, and people who stopped and offered us water and said, hey, do you have a pair of gloves? I'll help you out. So it was fun. I mean, it was fun. So
It was a community effort, and I think it was community building as well, because people who didn't even know each other were working together in different areas, and
I made a lot of new friends.
that's great. That's great.
Awesome. All
Don't
right,
forget
thank
to
you.
check us out if I can plug us. Don'tTrashWareham.com without the apostrophe. That's our website. And like us on Facebook and show us your trash photos.
Thank
All
you.
right,
It's
thank
weird,
you.
but it's fun.
Thank you, dear.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, Mr. Titlebaum, liaison report?
Why don't you come back to me? I have something in mind,
Mr.
but I can't
Holmes?
remember what it is.
Just want to thank Peter for taking over the recycling committee.
Mr. Slavin, you're on.
Planning board on the 8th will have Bay Point back on the project, so hopefully, if anybody has any questions, comments, come in, but we'll be working on that, hopefully on the 8th. Get that moving along.
All right, Miss Whiteside?
show up.
No?
I
Mr.
know that.
Titlebaum,
Yeah,
back to you.
yeah, I did attend the first junk study committee, and I have to echo the moderator's comments way earlier in this meeting, that, you know, it's a very ambitious, thoughtful group, and I think the town should expect a good result from it. There is a huge area of law that needs to be covered here, but I think that with some assistance from council, I intend to, you know, continue to serve as liaison to that committee. I think we should be able to get something ready for fall town meeting, whether it's the comprehensive solution or whether it's the first sort of skeleton upon which other laws can be draped in the future. I don't know. We'll have to see how it turns out. And hopefully, unlike the last time I served on a bylaw study committee, the state won't come in and change the damn law about 2 days before you're ready to close the town meeting warrant, or to put something on the town meeting warrant and force you back into rewriting the whole thing all over again. But I think it's going to be a good committee. They understand their charge, and they're looking forward to doing the work.
Okay, Ms. Whiteside, you...
Yes, I do actually have some things that I'd like to say. When you're a selectman, or if you're picking up trash, you really need one of these. Mr. Tropiano has one, and you need one. For those of you who get poison ivy really badly, this is recommended by a world-renowned allergist.
Shoe polish?
Okay, it is not shoe polish. It is a deodorant, non-scented. It contains aluminum chlorohydrate, and it works, okay? Not if you're the kind of person who ends up on steroids because you are that allergic. But if you have it all over your arms, which probably all of us do, please go, get some of this stuff. It's really good. And for those of you who have dogs, you don't have to go buy them. Every time you get groceries, you can get one of these. And you do this, and you bring your hand
Not
over
my chocolate.
it. And, this is how you cope with dog waste. Okay? Don't throw it on the side of the road when you're finished, because I have to say that one of the first things that greeted me on Saturday morning when I went to the post office was 2 nips and a pile of poop.
Those are also excellent
I'm
for
not even
diapers.
going there.
Those are also excellent for diapers, as
Yes.
my family uses them.
This says 8+. You sure I'm old enough for this?
Are we done?
Yes. Next is the, I just want to say that I went to that meeting on the ZBA last Wednesday, and it was nice. The town administrator was there, and as he mentioned, and so was the police chief. And, we got our points across, and, when we first went in there, we didn't know how it was going to go. It was, there was a lot of we didn't know whether it would work out or whatever, but I think we all made the points. They made some terrific points. And Kevin, he really had a great thing. He came up with this idea that he looked at it strictly from the safety point of view, and which was really nice. And the town administrator, who you would have thought would care about the money, didn't. He was too worried more about the children, getting some recognition and so on. So everybody had sort of a point to make, and it worked out really great. And we got a unanimous vote, so how can you go wrong? It was really worked out really nice. So I want to thank everybody for that. I want to thank the zoning board for, looking for the town, looking to take care of the town. All right, consent agenda. We have one bill, I think.
One bill for the law office of Attorney Richard Bowen in the amount of $15,000 for 105 hours
Do
worth
I
of
hear a
work.
second?
Second.
Motion made by Ms. Whiteside, seconded by Mr. Holmes. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, abstaining, it's unanimous. All right, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Motion made by Mr. Titlebaum, seconded by Mr. Slavin. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Good night, Wareham. We'll see you next week. Not next week, 2 weeks, sorry.